Manchester United 0, West Bromwich Albion 0, Jose Mourinho and Manchester United totally and utterly out of ideas, boring from minute one. Overreaction, you know what? I don't want to overreact because I think we sometimes say things in the heat of the moment and then after a few hours we'll calm down. But there are a few running themes. When we were doing the watch along, Marcus was doing it with me and he said, you can't blame Mourinho, it's not really down to him. I tell you what, in a certain way, when you've got no Mata, no Zlatan, no Herrera, no Pogba, any team is going to miss those four players. They are top class players, and we did miss them today. But the big thing that really hit home to me today is, one, who was your man of the match? And if it's Fellaini or Carrick, that tells you a hell of a lot that's wrong with Manchester United. And two, why, from minute 1 to minute 94, was our only real approach to this game to go wide and put crosses into the box. Effectively, put crosses into the box was our number one tactic when we are the worst team in the league at scoring from crosses against the best team in the league at defending crosses. Now that has to come down to the manager. That has to come down to tactics. And why did we do that? Why was that our only tactic? I know we did it a little bit more in the second half, but why weren't we shooting from distance? Why weren't we playing the ball in and around the box on the ground fast when we've got fast, quick players? Why weren't we running at their players when we've got players to do that? It was consistent. Go down the flanks and put the crosses in, because that's where West Brom were shepherding us, because they must have been... I mean, if you're Johnny Evans or Macaulay or Dawson today, you must have been sat there with your slippers on, a pipe and slippers game, and just deal with the crosses. Deal with it. In fact, if you're West Brom, you must be a little bit disappointed that you didn't commit a little bit more to go and win that game. Now, there's a lot of people on about West Brom saying they parked the bus, this, that and the other. I totally agree. Old Trafford has officially got the biggest bus park in the whole of Europe because everybody comes and parks the bus. But it's had that biggest bus park for about 40 years, certainly the last 25. Everybody parks the bus at Manchester United. We've still managed to beat them comfortably over the years. You've got to be able to find a way through. And Mourinho was out of ideas. Now, his only option on the bench was Rooney. I'll tell you what, I totally agree. There wasn't really anybody else you could bring on. People talk about Matty Willock because he's a young youth player. Nobody knew who he was a few days ago. Is he one of our best youth products? No. Is he going to set the world on fire? Probably not. Is he only on the bench because there's nobody else? Probably. So on him, I've got no issue with him not coming on. But the Rooney for Mkhitaryan substitution, I have a big problem with it. Not because Rooney came on, although for the how many of time this season when Rooney came on for Mkhitaryan, I just thought my confidence level dropped. Because what has Rooney done in 3 years? I mean, if it's Rooney 5 years ago, you suddenly think, yeah, we might do something. But what does Rooney really offer us off the bench now, other than somebody who is a shadow of them former selves? I mean, he's just frustrated, isn't he? Pushing people, knocking people on the floor, because he hasn't got the ability to do it. The mind's willing, the body's not giving. But the substitution's not Rooney's fault. We should have been trying to get more attackers on the pitch, not less. A like-for-like change for Mkhitaryan. And granted, Mkhitaryan didn't have a great game today. Neither did Rashford, neither did Martial. But he never subs Zlatan. He never subs Pogba. And I think Mkhitaryan's more important than both of those because he can produce something out of nothing. So why take Mkhitaryan off? Why continue with a back four? Why not take one of your defenders off? Why not take Carrick or Fellaini off and put Rooney on and go that and just commit? I don't like going back to Sir Alex Ferguson days because we've got to move on from the past. But we had an opportunity, like many opportunities, like Stoke, like West Ham, like Hull, like Bournemouth, like Arsenal, like Everton away. But more home games where we've just dropped so many points at home. And how many last chance saloons are we going to have? I mean, Liverpool have won today, Spurs have won today. We've dropped the points at home to West Brom. Realistically, with City, Spurs, Arsenal to play at home, what are our chances of top four? I mean, I will never say never because that's stupid, but realistically, is that it gone now? Is that top four really gone now? Because where's the confidence in the team? Where's the ability in the team to go and beat teams? It's just not there. It's not there. But I think if I'm leveling two issues with Mourinho, and everyone will know, watches this channel, and I know a lot of you would feel the same. I back Mourinho. He's the right man for Manchester United. And in many ways, I commend him for I mean, I thought Ashley Young at left back today was the right thing to do. It was attacking, and I actually thought he would have played Darmian because West Brom are a tall team, and he didn't. So the team he selected today, I don't really have many problems with it. I think it's the right team that he selected. I just think tactically your number one tactic to put crosses in against the team. We're rubbish at crosses and they're good at defending crosses was wrong. And in a game we had to win, there was no change. There was no change in the last 20 minutes. It was just a like-for-like change. It was like, oh, I'm going to take Mkhitaryan off for Rooney. But there was no change in the tactic. There was no change in approaching this game to win it. And I just think, yes, Sir Alex Ferguson would have known that's last chance saloon. We've got to win this game, or pretty much top four is going to be virtually impossible. Right, sod it. If we lose, we lose. But two at the back and the rest get up front. And Mourinho didn't do that. And I think, well, we may as well have lost that game than get a point. A point at this point of the season, it's not going to help us. Our goal difference isn't great. We're already playing catch up. We may as well have lost that game. And I think, Manchester United fans are mature and have a level of depth to them that actually, if he'd gone for it in that last 10 minutes and West Brom had got a sucker punch, we'd have been disappointed, but we're not as bad as we are now, not as frustrated as we are now. We missed Zlatan today. I'm going to put my hands up and say that. But these people who are saying Rashford's crap and calling Rashford Trashford, grow up. Absolutely grow up. I mean, before the international break, we played Middlesbrough away. Rashford was fantastic. We play West Brom. He's not so good and he's crap. Grow up. Football is this. West Brom parked the bus today. They put 8 men behind the ball and they sucked the life out of the game. I'm not going to blame them. Tony Pulis is the king of it. In fact, I said before the game, for all these points we've dropped at home, if any game we're going to drop points at home today, it's going to be when Tony Pulis comes to town, because he's the king of parking the bus. They parked the bus against us. We couldn't beat it. If we're playing West Brom away from home, they don't park the bus because their home ground. They've got to do what Middlesbrough did. They've got to try and impose themselves on the game, which leaves space, which makes pace important. But when a team parks the bus on the edge of the box, pace becomes quite redundant. So someone like Zlatan becomes very important in a game like that because he's strong, he can put the ball into the box, and he'll cause them different problems. However, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Oh, we need Zlatan for every game, because we might play against Burnley in a few weeks' time at Old Trafford, and Burnley might do what other teams like Hull and Bournemouth have done at home, where they think, well, Zlatan's not very quick. Why park ourselves on the edge of the box? Let's move up towards the centre circle because they're not going to hurt us in behind. And if they do that, then Rashford plays. But then they probably drop to the edge of the box. You've got to be cuter as a manager, is what I'm saying. Is if we'd had Zlatan today, West Brom probably would have played a high line. If you play Rashford, they'll play a low line. We've got to change it. We've got to change things. We are too predictable. Under Van Gaal it was boring and predictable. It's not. I think we've played good football under Mourinho, but we've got to change it. Like today, it was constant. Keep the ball around, move it side to side, go down the flanks and put a cross into the box. And that's all we did. Mix it up. Shoot from 30 yards. Try and play it in quick around the ball. Run at them. I mean, Martial looks like a lost puppy, I agree. Somebody said that on the watch-along. He looks like a lost puppy who doesn't know what he should be doing, who's not playing on his flair. Rashford, again, looks redundant. Mkhitaryan, probably a bit tired. It's been an international break. That's the downside of it. And when we're talking about man of the match, I'm going to be honest here. I mean, part of the problem is, if Fellaini and Carrick are your man of the match, that's why we're not winning games. That's why we are... we're struggling for fourth place, because if Fellaini and Carrick are the best players in your team, if you want to win a Premier League title or you want to win a Champions League, Fellaini and Carrick shouldn't be anywhere near your team. I've said enough about Fellaini over the years. Fellaini played well today, but he's not... Fellaini playing well against Middlesbrough and West Brom, and we only just beat Middlesbrough and we draw with West Brom, should be a big sign that that's a problem. That is a problem, because what does Fellaini give you other than effort? What about if we need somebody who actually can do a pass like Pogba, or is more tenacious and quicker than like Herrera? That's the problem with Fellaini. But I've got to throw Michael Carrick into that opinion now. I don't want to dwell on Fellaini. I've said everything there is to about Fellaini, and he played well today, but he's limited as a footballer. And Michael Carrick's the same. And I hate saying this, but because I'm such a big fan of Michael Carrick and he's been so important for United, but he's not able to do what he could do probably 2 years ago anymore. He can't lead a side, dictate a game. He can do a decent job, and Fellaini and Carrick did a decent job today, but it's not enough. If you want to win games at Old Trafford and you want to challenge for the title, you can't have Fellaini and Carrick as your midfield. The downside is, and I'm surprised nobody's saying it in the live comments, who else would you have played today? Now, and that is where you've got to come back to. Who else could we have played today? He sold Schweinsteiger, probably a mistake. Herrera's suspended, not his fault. Pogba's injured, not his fault. Rooney's finished, not his fault. Fosu Mensah, would you really have thrown him in today? Would he have really done any better than Fellaini and Carrick? Probably not. I just think creativity is the problem. We missed Mata today. We did miss Mata today, but I don't know how you lot all feel about it, but the way I feel about it is I'm almost, when we didn't beat West Ham at home and Burnley at home before Christmas and Hull the other week, it was almost like pulling your hair out. Today, it just felt like, meh. I'm disappointed, but did we deserve it? No. Did we create enough chances? No. It was attack against defence, and West Brom won. It was Pulis against Mourinho, and Pulis schooled Mourinho. We've got to take it on the chin. We've got to take it on the chin. There is no excuse. There's no big miss. I mean, Mkhitaryan had a chance, yeah, but the best chance of the game fell to Darren Fletcher. We've just got to take it on the chin and hope that we can win the Europa League and get in the Champions League. Because I think, actually, if we can get in the Champions League from this season, we've almost mugged the season off. I'm not convinced we deserve to be in the Champions League this year. And it's only because the Europa League is offering the Champions League that we might get it. Because league form, we don't deserve to be in the Champions League. So if we can come out of this season with Champions League football, I think we should shake hands with this season and say, bloody hell, we were lucky, because we've not deserved it. We've not deserved it based on our league form. And the Europa League will be our opportunity to get it. But we need to make changes in the summer. Vast changes. And changes that are not just based on the obvious. Not the obvious. Rooney's finished, isn't he? Sad, but he's finished. But I think brave changes need to be made. I'll go back to Carrick and Fellaini today. I'd get rid of both of them. Because we need better. Rojo and Bailly, is that good enough? No, it isn't. We need to go and sign a centre-back. I think Luke Shaw's finished. Whether that's right or wrong, I think he's finished. But we need to make changes at Manchester United. And I think I've come to the conclusion now, and I think a lot of you probably have as well, that I'm not moaning about points dropped. That wasn't points dropped today. A hypothetical points dropped because Manchester United should beat West Brom at home. But a deserved point for West Brom and a deserved point for Manchester United in the fact that we didn't deserve to win the game. We've dropped points at home to Hull and West Ham and all the others, and we should have won. We had 50 million chances, but today wasn't like that. Today was just Pulis parking the bus and getting a well-deserved point, and it's disappointing. It's really disappointing because when I look at the league now, we've lost. We're losing points on those above us. We've got Everton on Tuesday and Sunderland on the Sunday. And I hope we can win those games, and we've got players back, but I think we've almost left ourselves too much for top four now. Having got within grasp of it, we've still got the games in hand, and we could still do it, and we've got to stay positive. But Mike D says we need to stay positive and back Mourinho. I'm backing Mourinho. Don't take away that I'm not backing Mourinho. 100% I back Mourinho, and I think injuries are important and suspensions are important. And who else could have played instead of Fellaini and Carrick today? But I didn't like the fact that our only tactic today was putting crosses into the box against the best team for defending crosses, and we're the worst team. We didn't even have Zlatan. So the crossing really, we were just clueless, weren't we? Let's be honest. We played a team that were very, very good. Defensively, very, very well organised, and we couldn't break them down. We were clueless. But Mourinho will probably learn from it, I would hope. And we need to sign some better players. And that's it. Everton on Tuesday. We'll be live tomorrow night on the Sunday night show at 8:30. Lots to talk about. There always is when things don't go to plan. But ultimately, I just think we needed to show more. He needed to show more in that last 10 minutes. He needed to commit and say, if we lose the game trying to win the game, and as United fans, we've seen that happen before so many times. If you lose a game trying to win a game, you won't be criticised. And we didn't try to win it. He just took Mkhitaryan off for Rooney, like for like, and tried to keep doing the same things. And it's a sign of madness, isn't it, to continually do the same thing? And it was too easy for West Brom. Thanks everyone for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, get commenting below, give us your thoughts. I know lots of people are going to have lots of different views on that game, but personally I agree the players out was a problem, but the tactics were the problem today. Keeping doing the same thing, not mixing it up, and then in the last 15 minutes just go for it. 1 point's no good for us. It's a dross. Draw, loss, dross, and we couldn't afford to draw today. We needed to win. So if we'd lost, who gives a shit? 1 point. We've had too many 1 points. It needed to be 3. Go for it, and we didn't. Thanks everyone for watching. Speak to you all soon. And join us tomorrow night at 8:30. I might do a ramble in the morning, actually, take Robbie out. But it's not looking good. We're the laughing stock again. And we've got to take our medicine. Speak to you soon.